With the ceasefire underway, we have to look at Gaza. Its economy, what little there was simply devastated. It is now a region that long depended on aid to survive. Where do you start? How does this area come back?
An enormous rehabilitation and reconstruction program is what's on the table. We've seen what the consequences of the 2-year war has created. 92% of all housing was either destroyed or badly damaged. 92% of schools were either badly damaged or destroyed as well. 77% of the roads were damaged. Hospitals, schools, universities. You name it, they've all taken an extraordinary hit, and nothing that you and I would count as being the elements of ordinary community life exists physically in Gaza right now. What the World Bank in its issued report in February of 2025, together with the UN and the EU, estimated that it was going to take about $53 billion in order to reconstruct Gaza, probably over about a period of 20 years. That was 8 months ago.
Wow.
We've had 7 months of war since then, where people are now estimating that the total cost of rehabilitation could be, in today's dollars, somewhere between 65 and $70 billion.
That's amazing. So where does the money come from, and what are the most urgent needs? You just went through it. I mean, when you say what's the most urgent need, the answer is yes. But clearly getting hospitals, getting aid, getting people taken care of has to be a high priority.
All of that. I mean, in the very short term, what you need is more tents, more shelter. We have a Mediterranean winter coming up. You need the influx to scale of humanitarian aid for about 650 trucks a day to come in with medical supplies, with food, with water, with sanitation, with tents. Virtually everything that a population is going to need for the next 6 or 8 months while they live in the very most basic of needs. In terms of where the money comes from, that's going to be what Donald Trump calls phase 3 or phase 4. He did say today that he predicted a lot of money was going to be coming into Gaza from countries of great wealth, power, and dignity, which I'm assuming he means he's looking at the Gulf countries, the Gulf state countries, to wind up providing money for there. But it's also going to have to be an enormous international effort as well, with a lot of that money coming from the global north.
You know, you talked about phase 3 of Trump's 20-point peace plan that does talk about reconstruction, but a bigger question remains in how you go about this, because we have to revisit Trump's vague plan that he floated a couple of months ago to move Palestinians there to other nations and develop that region. It's a measure that has spawned widespread blowback almost instantly. Do you think that will ever happen?
Well, it's stated right in the 20-point plan of Donald Trump that Palestinians stay; they're not going to be pushed out. But in the medium and long-term run, you know, if there's no economy that's going to be there, if reconstruction doesn't happen at a very quick pace because there's lack of money, or there's Israeli obstruction about getting cement and construction vehicles and equipment into Gaza, you know, what I fear is that there may be thoughts of some Palestinians in Gaza in the medium and long run is, my future no longer belongs here. They have said very brave words, very inspiring words in the short run, that they are never going to leave. And let's hope that happens. But if there's no economy that winds up taking off, and the economy was almost entirely destroyed over the last 2 years, as you pointed out, then there may be existential choices for many of the Palestinians about whether to stay or to go.
Well, Michael, that begs the question, then where do you go? Because Egypt has made it clear they really can't or don't want to take any refugees from that area. So where would they go?
Well, I can't imagine large numbers being taken in by Europe or North America. Certainly countries that are on the borders of Israel, such as Egypt and Jordan, would refuse, because they know from very bitter history of what it means when Palestinians leave or forced to leave in large numbers. They're never allowed back, and that's a huge political issue among in the Arab street from Morocco right through to Iraq. So where they would go, it's not clear at all. If they were thinking of being pushed out, it might be going to some of the Gulf states in order to find work to send money back.
Real quickly, we don't have a lot of time, but how quickly does the reconstruction need to start to show there's some commitment to that region?
Oh, well, I think as swiftly as possible, both in order to start creating the resurrection of an economy, and maybe many of these Palestinians can get work in the construction area of rehabilitating Gaza, but also to show politically that that the world is behind this. I mean, my big worry is that Donald Trump has a very short attention span. His political attention span, his diplomatic attention span may not be long enough to sustain both the reconstruction of Gaza and establish a firm, irreversible pathway to Palestinian self-determination.